There are moments in life when your heart feels heavier than your body, when your soul is exhausted even after a full night's sleep. You wake up, but you don't feel alive. You smile, but inside you are breaking. And sometimes you wonder, Ya Allah, do you even see what I'm going through? Let me remind you of something powerful. Allah knows. He knows the tears you hide from people. He knows the silent dua you whisper in the darkness of the night. He knows the pain you never explain, the battles you fight alone, and the strength it takes just to keep going. You may feel unseen by the world, but you are never unseen by Allah. You are tired, not because you are weak, but because you have been strong for too long. Think about it. Every hardship you faced, you didn't give up. Every test you endured, you are still here. Every time life pushed you down, you found a way to stand again. That is not weakness. That is Iman. That is strength given to you by Allah. Sometimes Allah allows you to reach a point of exhaustion so that you finally turn back to Him completely. Not as a last option, but as your only refuge. Because when you are tired of everything else, you begin to rely on the one who never gets tired of you. Remember this, Allah does not burden a soul beyond what it can bear. If you are going through this, it means Allah knows you can handle it, even if you don't feel like you can. Your pain has a purpose. Every sleepless night, every tear, every moment of patience, it is being recorded. Not a single thaniya of your struggle is wasted. Allah is Al-Adl, the most just. He will compensate you in ways you cannot imagine. But here's the key. Don't let your tiredness take you away from Allah. Let it bring you closer. Pray even when you feel empty. Make dua even when words are hard to find. Trust Him even when things don't make sense. Because sometimes the delay is not denial, it is preparation. Allah is aligning things behind the scenes. He is protecting you from what you don't see and preparing you for what you never expected. And one day, everything will make sense. One day, you will look back and realize that your hardest moments were actually your turning points. That your pain brought you closer to Allah. That your tears watered the seeds of something beautiful. So don't give up now. You are closer than you think. Relief is nearer than it feels. And Allah's help is always on time. When you feel like quitting, remember, Allah knows you are tired, but He also knows you are strong enough to keep going. So keep going for Him, with Him, towards Him. There are struggles you carry that no one else can see. You walk among people, you talk, you smile, you respond, but deep inside, there is a storm that never seems to settle. You may have mastered the art of hiding your pain so well that even those closest to you have no idea what you are going through. But even if the entire world misunderstands you, there is one reality that should bring comfort to your heart. Allah sees it all. Nothing escapes His knowledge. Not the tear that rolls down your cheek in the middle of the night. Not the heaviness in your chest that you cannot explain. Not the silent prayers you whisper when you feel like you are about to break. Allah sees what you hide, what you fear, what you hope for, and what you have lost. He knows the full story. The parts people heard and the parts they never will. Sometimes one of the most painful feelings is being misunderstood. You try to explain yourself, but people judge you. You open your heart, but they don't truly listen. You expect support, but instead you face silence or criticism. It hurts because as human beings, we naturally seek validation and understanding from others. But the truth is, human understanding is limited. People see from the outside, while Allah sees from within. Allah doesn't judge you based on what people assume about you. He knows your intentions, even when your actions fall short. He knows when you tried your best, even if the outcome wasn't perfect. He knows when you stayed silent to avoid hurting someone, when you held back your tears to stay strong, and when you chose patience over reaction. These are things no one applauds you for, but Allah sees them and He values them. There are moments when you feel alone, even in a room full of people. Moments when you wish someone would just understand without you having to explain. In those moments, remind yourself that you are never truly alone. The one who created your heart knows exactly what is inside it. He understands your pain without you needing to put it into words. And sometimes Allah allows you to feel unseen by people so that you can find comfort in being seen by Him. Because if everyone understood you perfectly, you might forget to turn to Allah. But when people fail to understand you, it pushes you towards the one whose understanding is complete and perfect. Think about every silent sacrifice you have made. Every time you swallowed your anger, every time you forgave when it was hard, every time you kept going when you felt like giving up. These moments may go unnoticed by the world, but they are never unnoticed by Allah. And nothing you do for His sake is ever wasted. Even your pain is seen. Even your exhaustion is seen. Even your confusion is seen. And Allah, in His infinite mercy, does not ignore any of it. He responds in ways you may not immediately recognize, sometimes through strength, sometimes through patience, sometimes through unseen protection. So when you feel invisible, remember this: you are fully seen by the one who matters most. When you feel unheard, remember that Allah hears even the dua you don't say out loud. And when you feel like no one understands, remember that Allah understands you better than you understand yourself. Hold on to that truth. Let it comfort you. Let it strengthen you. Because being seen by Allah is more valuable than being understood by the entire world. You may look at yourself and think you are falling apart. You feel drained emotionally, mentally, even physically. The smallest tasks feel heavy, and the things that once brought you joy now feel like a burden. In those moments, it is easy to label yourself as weak. You start questioning your strength, your Iman, even your ability to keep going. But what if the truth is the complete opposite of what you think? What if your tiredness is not a sign of weakness, but proof of how strong you have been? Think about everything you have endured. The hardships you didn't choose, the tests that came without warning, the pain you had to carry while still fulfilling your responsibilities. You didn't quit. You didn't walk away. You kept going even when it hurt. That is not weakness. That is quwwata. That is resilience placed inside you by Allah. Weakness is giving up at the first sign of difficulty. Weakness is turning away when things don't go your way. But you stayed. You fought silent battles. You showed up even when your heart was heavy. You held yourself together when everything inside you felt like breaking. That is strength in its purest form. Sometimes the strongest people are not the ones who appear confident and unshaken on the outside. The strongest people are those who are struggling deeply but still choose patience. Those who cry in private but face the world with dignity. Those who feel exhausted but continue to trust Allah anyway. Your tiredness comes from carrying so much for so long. It comes from being patient with when you wanted to react, from staying kind when you were hurt, from holding on when everything was telling you to let go. This kind of tiredness is not a flaw. It is evidence of your endurance. And Allah sees this strength in you even when you don't see it in yourself. There are moments when you may feel like you have nothing left to give, like you've reached your limit, but somehow you still wake up the next day. You still try again. You still make dua. You still hope, even if it's just a little. That little is actually something very big. It means your connection with Allah is still alive. It means your heart hasn't given up. Understand this. Strength is not about never feeling tired. Even the strongest hearts feel exhaustion. Even the most patient souls feel overwhelmed. Strength is about continuing despite that exhaustion. It's about trusting Allah even when you don't understand His plan. It's about choosing Sabr when your nafs is pushing you toward frustration. Your tiredness is also a sign that you care. You care about doing what is right. You care about your responsibilities. You care about your relationship with Allah. And that care requires effort, sacrifice, and sometimes emotional strain. But Allah does not overlook any of it. In fact, the more you struggle while trying to stay on the right path, the greater your reward becomes, because it is easy to do good when everything is easy. But to do good when you are tired, when you are hurting, when you are emotionally drained, that is something azim in the sight of Allah. So don't be so quick to call yourself weak. Look at your journey. Look at how far you've come. Look at how many times you could have given up but didn't. That is your strength. You may feel tired, but that tiredness carries meaning. It carries reward. It carries growth. And most importantly, it carries the evidence that you are stronger than you think. So instead of questioning your strength, recognize it, accept it, and remind yourself that if Allah brought you this far, He will continue to carry you forward, even on the days when you feel like you can't carry yourself anymore. There are moments in life when things happen that you simply cannot understand. You try to make sense of the pain, the delays, the losses, but nothing seems to add up. You ask yourself, why is this happening to me? And sometimes there is no clear answer. It is in these moments that your faith is truly tested, because not every hardship comes with an explanation you can immediately see, but one truth remains constant. Nothing in your life is random. Every hardship you face carries a purpose, even if that purpose is hidden from you right now. When something painful happens, your first instinct is often to focus on what you have lost. A relationship that didn't work out, an opportunity that slipped away, a plan that completely fell apart. It hurts, and it's natural to feel that pain. But what you don't see is what Allah may be protecting you from. Sometimes, what you consider a loss is actually a form of divine protection. There are doors you wanted to walk through, but Allah closed them, not to punish you, but to redirect you. Because He sees what is behind that door, and you don't. He knows the outcome, the consequences, the hidden harm that you would not have been able to handle. So He closes it, even though it breaks your heart. And then there are delays. You make dua, you wait, you hope, but nothing seems to change. You begin to wonder if your dua is even being heard. But Allah is Al-Hakim, the most wise. His timing is perfect, even when it feels painful. Sometimes the delay is preparing you, preparing your heart, your mindset, your circumstances, so that when the blessing finally arrives, you are truly ready for it. Hardships also have a way of bringing you closer to Allah in a way that ease never could. When life is comfortable, it is easy to become distracted. But when you are struggling, you turn to Allah more sincerely. Your du'as become deeper. Your reliance becomes stronger. You begin to realize that no one can truly help you except Him. In that sense, your hardship is not pushing you away from Allah. It is pulling you closer to Him. There is also growth hidden within your struggles. The person you are today is not the same person you were before your trials. Pain changes you. It teaches you patience. It teaches you empathy. It softens your heart and makes you more aware of others. It builds a strength within you that cannot be developed in comfort. Think about the qualities. Allah loves sabr, tawakkul, humility. These are not formed in easy moments. They are shaped through challenges, through waiting, through enduring, through trusting Allah when things don't go your way. And every single moment of that struggle is being recorded. Not one tear is wasted. Not one moment of patience goes unnoticed. Allah is Al-Alim, the all-knowing, the all-knowing. Sees not only what you are going through, but how you are responding to it. And your response, your patience, your effort to stay strong, your continued faith is incredibly valuable in His sight. Sometimes the purpose of a hardship is not to change your situation, but to change you, to elevate you, to purify you, to bring you back to Allah, to bring you back to Allah. And sometimes it is all of these things combined. One day, the wisdom behind your pain will become clear. Maybe in this life, maybe in the next, but you will realize that what you went through was not meaningless. It was carefully written, carefully measured, and carefully placed in your life by the one who loves you more than anyone else ever could. So when you are in the middle of a hardship, try to shift your perspective. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, what is Allah teaching me through this? Because every hardship has a purpose, even if you cannot see it yet. There are times when exhaustion doesn't just affect your body, it reaches your heart and your soul. You feel disconnected, drained, and spiritually low. Appetites start to feel heavy, not because you don't believe, but because you are overwhelmed. In those moments, it becomes easy to slowly drift away from your connection with Allah without even realizing it. But what if your exhaustion is not meant to distance you from Allah, but to bring you closer to Him? When everything else begins to fail you, people, plans, expectations, you are left with a space in your heart that nothing in this world can fill. That emptiness is not a punishment, it is an invitation. An invitation to return to the one who can truly give you peace. Because sometimes Allah removes distractions from your life so that you can focus on what really matters, your relationship with Him. Your tiredness can become a turning point. Instead of letting it pull you into hopelessness, let it guide you back to sincere connection. When you feel like you have no energy left, turn to Allah in the simplest way possible. You don't need perfect words. You don't need long, complicated du'as. Just speak to Him honestly. Tell Him you are tired. Tell Him you are struggling. Tell Him exactly what is in your heart. Allah does not expect perfection. He loves sincerity. Even a small act of worship done in a state of exhaustion can carry immense weight. A short dua whispered with a heavy heart. A single sajdat where you pour out your pain. A quiet moment where you remember Allah while holding back tears. These moments are powerful because they come from a place of truth. Sometimes we wait to feel spiritually ready before we reconnect with Allah. We think we need to fix ourselves first to feel stronger, to feel more motivated. But the reality is, you don't need to be at your best to turn to Allah. You turn to Him as you are, broken, tired, confused, and He is the one who restores you. Your exhaustion can actually deepen your relationship with Allah in a way that comfort never could. Because when you are tired, your qalbah becomes more sincere. You are not turning to Allah out of routine. You are turning to Him out of need. And that need creates a stronger, more genuine bond. There is something beautiful about calling upon Allah when you feel like you have nothing left. Because in that moment, you are acknowledging that your strength is limited, but His strength is endless. You are admitting that you cannot carry everything on your own and that you need His help. And Allah loves that. He loves when His servant turns to Him repeatedly, even after feeling distant. He loves when you raise your hands in dua, even if your voice shakes. He loves when you take even the smallest step towards Him. Because every step you take towards Allah, He comes closer to you in ways you cannot imagine. Don't let your tiredness become a barrier. Don't let it convince you that you are too weak to worship, too drained to make dua, or too far to come back. Shaitan wants you to believe that distance, but Allah's mercy is always near. Even if all you can do is whisper, Ja Allah, with sincerity, that is enough to begin. And as you keep turning to Him, slowly, gently, you will begin to feel a shift. Not necessarily in your situation right away, but within yourself. A sense of calm, a sense of being heard, a sense that you are not carrying everything alone anymore. That is the beauty of turning your exhaustion into connection. It transforms your weakest moments into your strongest link with Allah. Patience is not something that comes easily, especially when your heart is heavy and your mind is overwhelmed. When you are going through pain, delays, or uncertainty, every moment can feel longer than it should. You start to wonder how much more you can tahmil, how much longer you have to wait, and whether your patience is even making a difference. It's in these moments that patience feels less like a virtue and more like a burden. But what you must hold on to is this: patience is never wasted. Every second you choose sabr over frustration, Allah is aware of it. Every time you hold back your anger, every time you remain calm when you could have reacted, every time you trust Allah instead of losing hope. These are not small things. They may feel invisible in this world, but they carry immense weight in the sight of Allah. Patience is not just about waiting. It is about how you behave while you are waiting. Anyone can wait when things are easy. But to wait with faith, to wait without losing trust in Allah, to wait while continuing to do good, this is what makes patience so powerful. It transforms your hardship into an act of worship. It turns your pain into something meaningful. Sometimes you expect the reward of your patience to come quickly. You think that because you have endured for so long, relief should arrive immediately. But Allah's rewards are not always instant. They are precise. They come at the right time, in the right way, and often in forms you didn't even expect. There are times when the reward of patience comes as a change in your situation. Your difficulties ease, your dua are answered, and things finally start to fall into place. But there are also times when the reward comes in a different form, a stronger heart, a deeper connection with Allah, a sense of peace that cannot be explained. And sometimes the greatest reward is saved for the hereafter. Imagine standing before Allah and seeing the full reward of every moment you were patient, every tear you held back, every hardship you endured, every time you chose faith over frustration. It will all be there. Nothing will be missing. And in that moment, you will realize that every bit of patience was worth it. Patience also protects you from making decisions you might regret. When emotions are high and situations are difficult, it is easy to react impulsively. But Sabr allows you to pause. It gives you the ability to respond with wisdom instead of emotion. It saves you from saying things you cannot take back and from actions that could harm you or others. It is important to understand that patience does not mean you do not feel pain. It does not mean you suppress your emotions or pretend everything is okay. You are allowed to feel hurt. You are allowed to cry. Even the prophets felt deep sorrow. But what makes patience special is that despite those feelings, you still choose to trust Allah. You still believe that He knows what is best for you. You still hold on to hope, even when it feels fragile. You still continue forward, even when the path is unclear. That is real patience. And Allah loves those who are patient, not because they are perfect, but because they strive to remain firm, even when it is difficult. Because they turn to Him instead of turning away. Because they carry their struggles with dignity and faith. So when you feel like your patience is running out, remind yourself that you are not just waiting, you are earning. You are building something far greater than what you can see right now. You are investing in a reward that will never fade. Hold on a little longer. Trust a little deeper. Because patience is not empty. It is full of unseen rewards that Allah has prepared just for you. There are moments when everything feels delayed. You have been making dawah for so long, waiting for change, hoping for relief. But nothing seems to happen. Days turn into weeks, weeks into months, and sometimes even longer. In those moments, it is easy to feel like your situation will never improve, like the heaviness you carry will always remain. But what you must understand is this: relief does come, and often it comes when you least expect it. Allah's timing is not like yours. You see the present moment, the immediate struggle, the visible pain. But Allah sees the entire picture, the past, the present, and the future. He knows exactly when the relief should arrive in a way that will benefit you the most. And sometimes that moment is not when you want it, but when you need it. But when you need it, think about the times in your life when something good happened unexpectedly. A problem you thought would never be solved suddenly found a solution. A door you thought was closed opened in a way you never imagined. A burden you carried for so long was lifted at the exact moment you felt like you could not handle it anymore. That is how Allah's help works. It arrives in ways that surprise you. When you are in the middle of hardship, it feels like it will last forever. The pain feels constant. The uncertainty feels endless. But no difficulty is permanent. Just as al-layl is followed by al-fajr, every hardship is followed by ease. This is a promise from Allah, and His promises are always true. The challenge is not whether relief will come. The challenge is whether you can hold on to hope until it does. Sometimes Allah delays relief to strengthen your reliance on Him. If things were resolved immediately, you might not develop the depth of trust that comes from waiting. You might not experience the closeness to Allah that forms during hardship. That waiting period as difficult as it is shaping your heart in ways you cannot see. And then, when relief finally comes, tea feels even more meaningful. It feels earned, appreciated, and understood. You look back and realize that the delay was not empty. It was preparing you, teaching you, and bringing you closer to Allah. There is also wisdom in how relief comes. It may not always arrive in the form you expected. You may have asked for one specific outcome, but Allah gives you something different, something better, something more suitable for your life. At first, you might not recognize it as relief, but over time, you begin to see the khair in it. This is why trust is so important. You trust that Allah hears your du'as. You trust that He cares about your pain. And you trust that He will respond at the right time, even if that time is unknown to you. Holding on to hope during difficulty is an act of faith. It means you believe that your current situation is not the end of your story. It means you believe that Allah is Ghatirun over all things, capable of changing your circumstances in an instant. And He is. A situation that seems impossible to you is easy for Allah. A heart that feels broken can be healed. A path that seems blocked can be opened. A burden that feels unbearable can be lifted. All it takes is for Allah to say "Kun," and everything can change. So do not let the length of your hardship make you lose hope. Do not let delays convince you that relief is not coming. Your story is still unfolding. What you are experiencing right now is just one chapter, not the entire book. Stay patient. Stay connected to Allah. Keep making dua, even when it feels repetitive. Because the moment you least expect, the moment when you feel like you have nothing left, that may be the exact moment when Allah's relief arrives. And when it does, you will realize that it was always on its way.